Let's get you ready to write your first SOQL queries. In this section, I'll show you the best places to write SOQL. Outside of Apex, there are two places I recommend writing SOQL, whether you're just looking to practice SOQL queries or if you're actually trying to search for records within your org. I'm going to introduce both options to you before demoing each one. Salesforce Workbench is the first option. This is an unofficial tool made by Salesforce for Salesforce admins and developers to help you manage your org. It's quickly gaining popularity among us in the industry because it's quick, easy to use, and includes many tools that you'd commonly use, including a SOQL editor. The next option I recommend is the Developer Console. You might remember this from the first Apex Academy course because it's also a very viable option to use for writing Apex code. With Developer Console, you'd have the convenience of writing both SOQL and Apex within it. The best part about each of these options? No installation required. They're both 100% online, so there's nothing to download, nothing to install, and nothing to troubleshoot. Just go to the website and you're ready to roll. On the screen here is the Salesforce Workbench. Note the URL or just Google Salesforce Workbench to get here. This is the homepage of Workbench that you'll see after logging in. This tool is made and used by Salesforce employees, so you know it's good. Along the top, you see the various tools available to you. Some of the useful tools include the standard and custom object info page, which shows you an object's various fields and relationships. The SOQL query page is where you'd write and run your SOQL queries. Included is a point-and-click SOQL query builder and the ability to export your results to a CSV if you choose. The data section is basically an online version of Data Loader. Everything you'd ever want to do with Data Loader is included here with no downloads or installations required. I use this often. The rest of the workbench gives you some handy Apex-related tools around deployments, integrations, and more. I like Workbench because it has a simple and clean UI. It doesn't try to do too much, but it does exactly what you need it to do and nothing more. Next is the Developer Console. You can access this from within Salesforce by clicking up here. There's a lot you can do in the Developer Console, including using it as a competent coding editor to write all your Apex triggers and run all your test classes. If you want to write SOQL queries in it, just navigate here to the Query Editor tab and type away. You'll see on the bottom right that a history of your SOQL queries is saved, which is something you won't find in Workbench. If your heart isn't already set on one of the options, I suggest using Workbench. Aside from having a cleaner SOQL editor, Workbench is nice because you're going to find yourself using it often for its other features, like data loading. And people are always impressed when you tell them you use Workbench, as if it's some secret tool in the industry. All of a sudden, you're family when you mention it. It might even impress your potential employer in an interview one day. That said, if you currently use the Developer Console as your main editor for writing code, stick with it for SOQL too. The Developer Console gets better every release, and there's no reason to force yourself to switch to Workbench. For the sake of this course, I'll be using Workbench for all SOQL demos.